it's actually brighter outside than the video shows on the GoPro. It's early morning. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm backing the Nucanoe off the trailer. I'm letting it float, but I have a dog leash attached to it. And so what happens is when I pull the truck up on the ramp, then the boat gets retracted by the dog leash. So it's a real easy way to control the boat when you're by yourself. Now I'm going to come down, grab the leash, and I'm going to direct the boat over to where I want to park it. In this case, I'm just going to pull it up on the ramp, I'm going to raise it up, and then set it down on the ramp so it doesn't damage the bottom. Now, there's no wind and there's no other boats around, so I don't have to worry about anything. Headed out to the fishing grounds. Now I'm in a Frontier 12. I have a Xi3. I also have a Garmin Livescope system on there, and it makes a really nice setup. The noise you hear in the background is called a Bobo's Thumper. It's a fish attractor. I'm fishing 2 down rods to the front. They actually have slightly different live bait setups, and they're on quick draw rod holders from Cabela's that actually attach to Scotty bases, and they're screwed directly to the kayak. There's a bite. I immediately switched to spot lock on the trolling motor, so it's going to try to maintain its position. If you watch as the fish moves the boat around, it compensates for it. Now, while I'm fighting that fish, you'll notice that handle behind me to the right. That's actually a fishing specialties pole for the transducer for the Livescope. Well, there's our first fish. It's a nice little hybrid. We'll go ahead and unhook it and release it. Okay, we're fishing along here. I'm seeing fish on the Livescope, and all of a sudden I get a hit. And there you go. So I grab it. And of course, it went to the front, went under the boat. It's actually in front of the trolling motor. And since I'd hit the spot lock, guess what? I got a fish on the other one. Now I've got 2 fish on at the same time. The spot lock's trying to keep me in place, and they're probably going to get tangled. Now the camera image seems to be moving around. What's happening is the pole that the camera's on is actually moving back and forth. So sometimes you'll see a rod move in front of it. You know, the challenge now is to try to get both of these landed, and of course they're one's on top of the other, so it gets a little busy sometimes. Now I think I could get the 2 rods separated, so that's looking good. Yeah, we'll see how this turns out. Alright, this one's just about landed, and you can see the rod holders, tips are kind of up in the air. That's really, really important so that you don't lose rods. Also, you can see from this how important it is to have really good rod holders and solidly mounted. Well, our second fish is still on, and now we're going to land it. Hopefully we will have landed both of those. Normally when you go over school, they'll typically be all roughly the same size. Now it can be a mixture of hybrid and stripers, but they're in year classes is what they are. But now that's not always the case. The big fish are swimming around there too, but they're not in schools. I knew immediately this was a big fish. It's funny, watch the trolling motor. It's on spot, I can watch it fight and trying to hold position. So it's fighting that fish, and I'm holding on for dear life, trying to get the rod out of the rod holder, and hopefully get it landed. We'll see how this comes out. Particular spot, the water under the boat's 100 feet deep. Now the fish aren't that deep, but it's certainly that deep under the boat. I begin to see the fish, and there's no doubt it's a quality fish. Now the challenge is, how do you get it landed? Well, I have a dip net, so hopefully I'll be able to get it dipped and into the kayak. That is a very nice fish to catch in a kayak.